Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to PaygOps webinar. We'll wait a few more minutes to see if others will join us in the next minute, and then we'll begin. Good morning once again. Welcome to another edition of PaygOps webinars. We're waiting a couple of seconds to see if others will join us before proceeding further. Feel free to say where you're dialing in from in the chat. If you have anything to share with us today about why you're joining the webinar as well, you can drop that in the chat. All right, I think we're a good number, so let's begin. Good morning once again, and welcome to another edition of PaygOps webinars. My name is Jacqueline, and I'll be your webinar host for today. For those who don't know about our organization, well, since 2014, we were once a distributor, and now Solaris Upgrade is turned, since a couple of years ago, a software provider with a focus on providing technology solutions to scale up access to essential products and services for low-income regions. Now, our main aim is to enable technology for the value chain, right from supporting manufacturers to improve products designed towards market needs, and also to allow interoperability of PayGo software with OpenPayGo, and also providing a suite of operational tools and apps for last mile distributors through our flagship products, which you all know, PaygOps. And also alongside, we have our product development services called Solaris Lab. Now, you must, for you, some of you who are already clients with us, or some of you who've been with us for years, you'd know that one of our guiding principles is to develop products and services that are tailored to the business needs of last mile distributors and not the other way around. And this is, a core guiding principle. And this core guiding principle was conveyed in the creation and the designing of a new phenomenal feature, which we call the user journey editor. In this webinar, we'll be showcasing via a couple of interactive scenarios and demos, showing you how you can efficiently customize and optimize your processes to increase business efficiency and to also facilitate scaling up of your operations at the last mile. Now, whether you have recurrent processes, simple processes, complex processes, and you're looking to streamline these, it's my hope that this webinar will address, what you can do in that regard. It's therefore my pleasure to host all of you today for another edition of PaygOps webinars. So this one is PaygOps User Journey Editor. And to do us the honors, we have our speakers in the person of Caroline Maranya, who is our product owner, And we also have a very special guest from Wanaka Fund, Edwin Karibu, who's the project lead from Wanaka Fund. You'll hear from them in the next couple of minutes. So welcome once again to all attendees. We're very happy to have you here, and we look forward to your participation in this webinar. Now, I must say that this webinar is a bit different from the couple of ones we've had in the past, in that this one is a bit more interactive. We would need your active participations to answer a few questions, and based upon that, the rest of the webinar will flow from that. So we need your rapt attention. We need all your inputs. So stay with us until the end. Feel free throughout the webinar to connect through the chats, which will remain open. There would also be a Q&A box. If you have burning questions, not to worry. Drop them at any time during the webinar, and at the end of the webinar, we'll address all of your burning questions. So without further ado, let me jump into the context of the webinar. So if you're a last mile distributor, you already know by looking at the screen that there are common processes that run through. So what are some of these common operational processes of last mile distributors? So whether it is, in your daily operations, you could be undertaking client onboarding, KYC processes, issue reporting, payments collection, after sales interaction, planning delivery, inventory management, and so on. Like you can see on the flow chart on the screen, right? Now, it's a no-brainer that one organization's processes can differ greatly from another organization's processes. And, for example, one, let's say, bigger or complex organization would have a much stricter procedure for collecting information at the client onboarding stage, as opposed to a smaller organization who will only be concerned with a handful of information. Now, the differences in processes can be seen in several forms, okay? Whether it's showing up in the time to onboarding or process complexity, or even the flexibility, or even, the amount of information gathered. Here's why our phenomenal feature, User Journey Editor, it comes in to provide that harmony in offering the flexibility to any organization at all, regardless of your size, to be able to customize your client processes and your journey. And the key part of this offering is that it will help you to reduce human errors, especially at the field agents level. So I think this is quite the moment to transition to Edwin, as he tells us firsthand his experience in his organization with this feature and how it's helped them. Edwin.
Thank you, Jeffrey. My name is Edwin Kaburu, project lead in Wanaka Fund. So, essentially I work as a technical liaison between Wanaka Fund and the PaygOps team in Eternum. Work with them to basically ensure that the solution that they provide is customized to enable us to enable our operational processes. But maybe before I get to that, just give you a summary of who Wanaka Fund is and what we do. Essentially, Wanaka Fund is a social enterprise. You could also refer to us as an agricultural service provider that supports Africa's smallholder farmers to build resilient communities. We work with over 50 million families in sub-Saharan Africa. We operate in several countries, which include Kenya, Nigeria, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Malawi, Zambia, Uganda, and Ethiopia. I specifically work in Kenya. So the Kenyan program is essentially called To Pandi or To Grow. And for us, what basically, that just touches in terms of what our values are, and that is putting the farmer first and growing with them. Our impact essentially focuses on ensuring that we grow farmer income, providing them with food security, climate resilience, and ensure we do that by providing them with quality farm supplies, last mile delivery, training on modern farming practices. We also offer financing and insurance. And another key pillar for our organization is offering trees. So that basically just sums up who we are and what we do. Just switching over to what essentially we use the PaygOps platform for, is that we use it to essentially enroll our farmers and enroll them for asset-based financing, where we essentially provide them with quality farm produce. As I mentioned, we worked with PaygOps to essentially customize the solution to meet some of our operational processes, which essentially includes making sure that we validate the KYC information, or the information we collect from our farmers. First, it's very important to make sure that we literally do know who our farmers are, and we validate the information. So we have implemented several steps where we're able to automatically validate the customer information we collect based on, let's say, national IDs that we collect, verifying them with existing databases. So because of this, all the different customizations that we worked with the PaygOps team to implement, we kind of ended up building a process that for somebody who's not very technical would be very complex. And hence, topic of discussion today, how the user journey editor has come to play to essentially make our complex processes more simpler for a non-technical person to utilize easily. Maybe just to touch base on a few, on our current operational challenges that we face with the process that's seemingly complex for our non-technical staff. So maybe context here, the non-technical staff that we're talking about here is our large field force, or field agents. We have about 1,000 field agents working with us to deliver impact to our farmers, and we essentially get or recruit our team from the communities in which they work, which generally means that you find that there's a varied demographic that we end up working with. So you may find some of them probably have never used, say, like a tablet, but through our training, they end up being upskilled to be able to use the tablets and more advanced technology, as well as the PaygOps platform. So yeah, so just to make sure, because of the complex journey we kind of built for ourselves on the PaygOps platform, for these non-technical field-based teams, ended up creating a steep learning curve where it took, say, between 1 to 2 months for them to actually get fully onboarded on how to enroll a customer end to end. And additionally, this required high man hours in terms of the amount of training required to train them, and also we also needed to kind of train a support team or rather a hotline team that they can call in case they're stuck, because a lot of the issues we typically get mostly just could be knowledge gaps, or they probably don't remember particular steps that they're supposed to follow on the system. We find that with the different demographics that we're currently working with, these varied lead times when it comes to enrollment and customer experience, because you find if for a person who's actually tech savvy, they'll actually be able to offer a better customer experience than for somebody who's probably struggling through the system to enroll that particular farmer or customer. So this leads to varied customer lead times and experience, which for us, that inconsistency does not bode well. But as we, our customer or our farmer is our key priority. We need to make sure that we do have a standardized experience end to end. So with the user journey editor, we basically for the user journey editor, the value addition that actually brings to us, it helps us bring together all the different processes that we put together into a simpler journey that our field staff are familiar with and can relate to. So the improved user experience is currently better tailored to match our specific operational needs in the field, which allows us to provide a more straightforward and intuitive interface. Another value add for us is it has significantly reduced the need for the training and the support hours that we initially used to have. So by nature, an intuitive interface that the user journey interface provides reduces the need for constant trainings or retrainings, or even the need for a large team to essentially provide that specialized end user support. And the other bit is that we managed to achieve consistency in our customer enrollment journeys, customer experiences, and quicker customer touch points, right? So by simplifying the user journey, the field staff are able to engage with our customers more efficiently, and this leads to a quicker and more consistent customer interactions for us, which is extremely important. So which takes me to my last point, enhanced customer experience. So a smoother, more intuitive process results in a better overall experience for our customer, fostering higher satisfaction and engagement with them. So yeah, the user editor journey essentially has streamlined our operations, reduced the operational burdens that we had initially, and enhanced the overall customer journey. Yes, this tool for sure has brought value in terms of helping us transform how our teams interact with customers and ensuring consistent, efficient, and a pleasant experience. Yeah. So in a nutshell, that would be my feedback and 2 cents to this. Back to you, Jacqueline.
Well, thank you very much, Edwin, for sharing practical insights on how the user journey editor has been, efficient in allowing you to streamline your operations at One Acre Fund. It's incredible to hear it from a user's perspective, where we're not the one saying it, but this is practically speaking from your side, how this has been useful to you. So thank you so much for the practical insight. I think it's about time then to go into the demo. And so I just hand over to Caroline, our product owner, who will take us through the practical demo on how this would look like for, users just like Edwin, who are in hopes of using the user janitor to streamline their processes. Over to you, Caroline.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Thank you, Edwin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today on how to use the journey editor. So like Jacqueline has mentioned, this is going to be an interactive webinar, and a lot of the responses and demo that we're going to build it together. So there will be a sequence of polls that appear on your screen, and you have the chance to vote on the item that you'd like us to build together, and the responses that are the most popular are what we will include into the webinar. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know and put them in the chat, and then we can address it from there. So welcome to the user journey editor. For this particular demo, we are going to be creating a user journey where you are onboarding a loan client. So the process we're going to have is called loan onboarding, and through the demo, I'm going to explain to you and show you how you add in steps to create the journey, what types of information or data collection points you can add in to your process. But it's important to note one of two things. First, that this demo is specific to loan onboarding, but can be customized to your market, to whatever other industry that you're working in. And so the responses and questions that we're going to add in are tailored to this specific process. Second, the user journey is very customizable. And once again, if you have any questions you'd like us to address, please put them in the chat and we'll get to them at the end of the demo. So when thinking about a user journey for onboarding a loan client, the first step type that you'd have to have is a point at which your agent would select what type of client are you serving. In most cases, like Edwin has mentioned, you could have different types of farmers coming to receive items. One could be a loan client, one could be a cash client, you could have a recurring loan client, or a new loan client. And within the editor, you have the option to select a form, which is a type of information collection sheet that allows you to select, okay, I'm serving a loan client who is a new loan client, and you create a journey for that specific type of client. As well, there's other different types of steps or data collection points that you could have. You could include a workflow. You could have a message that you share with the agent. You could have a redirection step type, depending on your needs and what you'd like your agents to communicate when they're out in the field. But overall, the journey editor allows you to really customize the journey that you want your field agents to have with your clients. So here we have the client subtype where you would select, are you serving a loan or a cash client? And for the second step, we're going to have our first poll where we can decide what the next step would be.
So right on your screen, you'd see a poll. And this is the first step that Caroline is talking about. So we need your inputs here. If you can select what you'd like to add to our next onboarding process. And based on your feedback on this poll, we will use that, the most voted answer in the next step. Please take the next seconds to vote. Thank you.
So as you go through the voting throughout the demo, just always keep in mind that you're creating a journey that will be used by the agents, and the steps you're creating are sort of like the questions your agents will ask.
So yeah, I think our poll results are in, and the most voted answer is add basic information input fields. Sorry.
Thanks, Jackie. So the second step we're going to build in is basic information field, which is KYC information, say the name of the farmer, their ID number, what have you. And for that, we have a step type, which again, I mentioned is a type of data collection sheet called basic info. This is pre-configured and it includes fields on the farmer's name, their ID number, their location, their phone number, etc. Again, the fields in the basic info step type are customizable to you and your journey. As well, you have the option to set default lead generators, meaning that would you like the agent who is enrolling the farmer to be pre-selected and then have this as a default value? Or would you like, as the process is going on, the agent does input that it's their name as they're registering the client? For this demo, we're going to say that the agent registering the client is pre-selected and will have a default status that the farmer is ready to purchase the product. So this is the second step, and we're going to save the process so you can continue. The next step we can have is an offer picker. An offer picker in PaygOps means that this is a step where a sale item is assigned to the client. So you could call this sale. or offer, depending on what you'd like and what term you use in your industry. And again, for this, we have a default form called the offer picker. This can be customized again to your industry, and you can have additional information or additional sale items assigned to the lead as you're registering the lead, and you can set a default offer. For this demo, I will not set a default offer, and I will not restrict any additional information or items that I can reassign to a lead as you're registering them. But for your process and for your needs, you can definitely customize this process to what suits you the best. I'm going to save the process again. And for the next step, we're going to have our second poll. But just to refresh your memory, we started from selecting the type of clients, adding fields to collect the KYC information. And the next step we've added in is a step to assign a sale item to the lead who's being registered.
Yeah, so that transitions to the next poll, indeed, the second poll. Please take a few seconds to quickly respond, and based upon your most voted answer, we'll use that in the next step. So what other type of information would you like to collect from the client? Finance questions, farming practices, questions about their demographic, family size, education, GPS, or any other? Thank you. Right, so the poll results are in, and it looks like GPS surface mapping was the most voted, and the tie was farming practices and finance questions that came in second. So GPS surface mapping then.
Okay, thanks for that. So for the GPS step, we're going to go into another section of PaygOps, which is custom forms. So within PaygOps, you can create a custom form, which is a type of data collection question. So for example, the GPS collection form is a GPS collection form allows you to let the agent know that they need to collect the location of the farm that they're at. But there's also different types of forms that you can use for your client and for your process. You could have a form that's a signature to confirm that the client is, agreeing to the terms and the conditions of the loan. You could have a form that is looking at the farming practice. In this case, you can have multiple questions and different types of answers. So again, the custom forms allow you to have more control and power into the types of questions and information that you're collecting from your clients, and can be customized to your industry as well. So for the GPS step, we're going to call this step GPS data point, and we're going to use a custom form, and we're going to use the custom form that we have just seen called GPS. Also important to note is when you're using this on the mobile app, you can, an agent can walk around the farm to collect the data points. But for the demo, we're going to simulate that journey at the end. Right, so after the GPS point, we can have a payment step type, which is necessary for all sorts of clients. So again, we're going to use the custom form to add in a payment step. So as you can see, there's different types of forms that you could have. You can have a payment step type. You can use the custom form to report if there's an issue with payment, and also send out reminders to your clients if they're delayed on payments. All right, now that we've added in the payment step, we can have our final poll to see what sort of information you should collect at the end of the process. But again, to refresh your memory and what we've added in so far, we have the client type to decipher, are you a loan or a cash client? Basic information about the client, the sale information or the loan offer that will be assigned to the client, additional information about the location of the client and location of the farm. So a step to record payment and payment type. And now our final step in the poll.
Great. So this last poll, which also would be the last step, is asking what would be the last step before you finally confirm and register the client. So would you like to request client signature at the end, or would you like to add a message for the agent, or would you like to add a successful payments message to be sent to the client, or any other? Again, take a few seconds to answer the poll for us. Thank you. So the poll results are in, and yeah, by the unanimous decision to request client signature at the end.
Right, thank you. So request client signature and successful payment are the most popular. So for client signature, we'll just call the step sign. And again, we're going to use the custom form that we had shown that allows you to collect the signature of the person who's being onboarded. And as well, we could include the final step, which was the second most important step, which was success. For this, we're going to use a different type of step. It is called message. And in the message, you're able to define what type of message you want to communicate with the agent. So it could be a warning, an information, an error, or a success message, depending on the information that's been pre-fed into the custom process, or the information that you'd like to communicate to the lead who's been onboarded. Since this is a success message, you could make this a message stating that your payment has been successful. So we'd call this step successful payment. And again, successful payment. And you can choose the icon. So for this, we're going to put a person to signify that, yes, this lead process has been completed. So I hope it's been clear and easy to see how simple it is to use the custom process to set up the journeys that you'd like your agents to go through when speaking to leads. So each different step has different types of information that you can collect, and you can create your own information fields using the custom forms. At this point, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment and get set up to show you what the process would be like using a phone. And that will please allow me 30 seconds or so to do this.
Great. Whilst Caroline prepares to show us on the mobile app, if you have any questions that you'd like us to answer at the end of the webinar, feel free to still populate that in the main Q&A chat or in the general chat as well.
I believe my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Great. So this is the user journey as it would be on an Android phone. So our first step type that we defined was for the agent to define what type of client this is. So we're going to say this is a new loan client. And then we're going to put in basic information about the client. So if we call them Caroline Brown, we set the village and we add a phone number. Like that. We've collected the basic information about Caroline. Next, we're going to choose the offer or the sale item that's being assigned to the client. So we're just going to use loan. And you can see the total amount of the value of the loan. Again, this will be customized to your industry and your needs. We'll go next. The GPS coordinates was the additional information that was requested. Let's put it as 0.4 and 0.5. Again, the step important to note is that you can collect this information by walking around the farm. So This will mean that the information is more up to date and more reflective of the actual situation of where the farmer's location is. Next is payments. So for this step, we made it such that you can have a cash or mobile money payments and include information on how to make payments. But you could also make this a workflow where the agent will send out a code or USSD prompt to the farmer, and they would pay, and then you just type in the M-Pesa code and the Momo code for payment. So if we call this, for example, A2123, and again, you could use different types of payment platforms. You could use M-Pesa, Momo for MTN or Airtel Money. Next is the signature stage for the farmer for the lead to accept that they do indeed want to take this loan and they understand the terms of the loan. So it could be that, or if it is incorrect, you have a chance to do it again. And yeah, this is the final step, showing that the payment is successful. And this is the end of the custom process. So I hope that does demonstrate how easy and simple it is to create customized journeys for you and your leads. Journeys that are less technical, straight to the point, and do collect all the information that would be required when onboarding a new loan client. Thank you, and back to you, Jacqueline. You're on mute, Jacqueline. Sorry.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Caroline, for that insightful and very interactive demo. It was pretty straightforward, and I am hoping that indeed everyone else would agree that it was quite groundbreaking to know that something like this exists for last mile distributors to streamline their processes for field agents. I think this is the time now, if you haven't dropped any question yet, to drop your question so that we can use the last few minutes of the webinar to address those concerns. So we have a question coming in from Jackson, and Jackson wants to find out, is this part of the custom dashboard feature?
Thanks for your question, Jackson. No, this is not part of the custom dashboards feature. This is a completely independent feature. Yes.
Right. Let me filter through to see if there are any other questions. Again, another question coming in from Jackson. He'd like to know if this would work next to the custom dashboard. Jackson seems to be very passionate about custom dashboards.
Fantastic. We love to hear that. So yes, you could have custom dashboards, say how we define that this is onboarding for our loan clients. You could have a custom dashboard for the data collection points for new loan clients, but you could also have a different dashboard for cash clients or repeat loan clients. So you can use the different dashboards to compare information on what sort of items are preferred by what sort of clients, which clients are most likely to come back for loans or products in the future. The options are endless.
Well, Jackson, I hope this answers your question. Let's see if there's any other question coming through. Yeah, I think there are two more questions coming through. Let me see. So Jackson wants to find out again, when can we expect the rollout of this feature?
In summertime, in Q3 during the summertime.
So that's your response, Jackson, in Q3 during the summertime. And we have one coming from Aditoro Ahmed. He wants to find out, is the payment option linked seamlessly with the finance house's digital payment system? I don't suppose I understand that question.
Maybe I can try interpret. So please correct me if I'm wrong, Aditoro. If you're asking if the payments are connected to the custom process.
If you're able to clarify, then we can.
Okay, yeah.
He says
so
yes.
Yes, you could have, as part of the payment step, a workflow that's connected to M-Pesa, for example, and the agent would simply press a button that shares payment prompt to the farmer, and they just make the payment, and it'd be reflected that the payment is successful. And all you'd have to do, say, is compare that the M-Pesa message that the client received is the same that the agent is seeing reflected on their screen. So yes, that's very possible.
I hope that answers your question, Aditoro. Do you have any other coming through? I think we can take a final question and then wrap up the session. If you have any questions you haven't yet asked, this is your moment. Right, I think we have no more questions coming through, and we're just receiving thanks from Jackson. So thank you all for joining PaygOps user journey editor webinar for the day. We hope it's been insightful and useful to you, and that you're anticipating the rollout come summertime. Thank you, Edwin, once again for gracing us with your presence. Thank you, Caroline, for the very insightful and practical webinar. And we'll see you all next time on our next PaygOps webinar. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.